Hello, my dear students. Teacher Jason here, and it's time for our online science class. I hope you and your family stay safe and everything alright with you. I wish you enjoy and have a really good time here with me. So let's dive into our lesson.
All right, in the beginning of our lesson, let's recap everything we learned before. Okay, let's review our previous lesson. Our topic was chemical changes in substances. Repeat after me, chemical changes in substances. Chemical changes in substances. All right, so we discover with you what is chemical changes. Chemical changes is chemical reaction resulting in the formation of a new substance with new properties. Right, repeat after me. Chemical changes is chemical reaction resulting in the formation of a new substance with the new properties. Okay, every time when we have chemical changes, chemical reactions, we have new substance. Okay, in result of chemical reaction, every time we have new substance with new properties. Okay, and we discover with you the difference between chemical and physical changes. In physical changes, appearance of form changes, yeah, but substance remains same. So if we have sandcastle, and we smash this sand castle, it's physical changes. Yeah, we change form, but substance same, remains the same. It's sand. All right. But when, for example, we burn something, yeah, this is a chemical changes because we get new substance, right? Coals. First we have wood, then we have chemical changes. It's burned and we get new substance, coal, yeah, with different, completely different properties compared to the wood. All right. So also we know that all the products formed are still forms of water. Yeah, if we burn ice melt, get became water, then water evaporating, yeah, and we get water vapor. And all these thing is physical changes, yeah, because all the products formed are still forms of water. Yeah, three different state of matter, but same forms of water. So it's physical changes. Yeah. And if we broke a plate, for example, these broken pieces are still parts of a plate. So this is a physical changes. Yeah. We just change the shape and there is no any new uh, new substance formed. So but when again we burn wood, chemical reaction take place. Yeah, this is a chemical reaction because new substance get formed. It's coal, right? And over time, chemical reaction have take place in resulting in rusting. Yeah, if we leave our car for long period on backyard, yeah, and we don't use it after a couple years, maybe early, maybe later, depends on your quality of car, it will get rusting. This is a chemical changes. Yeah, so rust is new substance with new properties. All right, this is it, what we discover on previous lesson, and we make some exercise. All right, today we continue our topic, chemical changes in substances. All right, repeat after me, chemical changes in substances. One more time, chemical changes in substances. All right, chemical changes in substances. Before we start, I will ask you to prepare your work textbook and pen. All right, prepare your work textbook and pen. We will make some science process skills enhancing activity today. Open your work textbook on page 165. Please open your work textbook on page 165. Find science process skills enhancing activity called chemical changes in substances, right? Our objective for today to analyze the changes of substances when a chemical reaction takes place by experimenting, right? Our problem, what change will happen when baking powder is mixed with vinegar, right? If you don't know, I think you will get a lot of fun today, right? Because when baking powder is mixed with vinegar, some bubbles will form, all right? So our hypothesis for today, when baking powder is mixed with vinegar, some bubbles will form. Repeat after me, please. When baking powder is mixed with vinegar, some bubbles will form. All right, one more time. When baking powder is mixed with vinegar, some bubbles will form. All right? So pause the video, please write it down in your work textbook, okay? Hypothesis. When baking powder is mixed with vinegar, some bubbles will form, all right? Write it down in your work textbook, okay? When you finish, push the play button and we continue our video. And before we continue our science process skills enhancing activity, I will ask you to follow instruction and watch one additional education video of this experiment, right? Follow the instruction, please. First of all, you pause the video lesson, please. Pause our video lesson. Then click the link and watch video 1. It's appear here on the screen, or you can find the link in description below. And when you finish watching video 1, continue to watch our video lesson, all right? So when you finish, please close that window and come back to our video lesson and continue to watch our video lesson. So I ask you to pause the video now, open video 1, and when you finish with video 1, continue to watch our video lesson, right? So let's do it right now. Pause the video, please. Okay, I hope you watch video, you finish watching video, and we can continue to make our activity, okay, to fill up our work textbook. Okay, so let's go to part number 1, observing the changes when baking powder is mixed with vinegar. Okay, uh, let's study our table. First column is substance, yeah. First is baking powder, okay. Baking powder. Here we can find some baking powder, baking soda, yeah, soda. How it looks? How it looks like? Look on this powder. It's like white powder, right? White. How it looks? Baking powder, baking soda. How it looks like? It looks like solid white powder, right? White solid, okay? White solid. Here you see we have some baking powder, and please write it down in your work textbook how it looks. Describe it. White solid, okay? White solid. It's white solid, right? White solid. If you not finish writing, pause the video, finish writing, and continue to watch our video, right? Okay, vinegar. What about vinegar? Part number 1, we're observing the changes when baking powder is mixed with vinegar. Substance number 2, vinegar. Repeat after me. Vinegar. Vinegar. How it looks like? It's just liquid without any color, right? So clear, colorless liquid. Repeat after me, please. Clear, colorless liquid. Okay? Pause the video and write down in your work textbook. Okay? Clear, colorless liquid. Okay? And continue watch our lesson. All right. Substance number 3, baking powder mixed with vinegar, okay? When we put baking soda inside our bottle, yeah, with vinegar, we can see that there is many bubbles that form, yeah, and balloon inflated because of this chemical reaction, right? So how it looks? Bubbles form, right? We have many bubbles there. The balloon is filled up, yeah? Balloon filled up, all right? So pause the video, please write it down. Bubbles form, the balloon is filled up. Before you write in, please repeat after me. Bubbles form, comma, right? Bubbles form. The balloon is filled up. The balloon is filled up, yeah? Balloon is filled up. Okay, pause the video and write down everything in your work textbook. Okay. All right, we continue. Okay. Now, second part, observing the difference between raw and ripe mango. Okay. In our substances column, we have number one, raw mango. Look on picture number one. It's raw mango. Yeah. It's white and green outside, white inside and green outside. And ripe mango, yeah, after some time we get ripe mango. It's change color, right? It's get yellow, right? And it change smell, right? So raw mango, how it looks like, describe raw mango. Green in color, right? Maybe much harder than ripe mango. Ripe mango softer than raw mango. Okay. And what about ripe mango? Ripe mango yellow in color and has a smell, right? Yellow in color and has a smell. Okay, pause the video, write down everything in your work textbook. When you finish, please continue watching our lesson. Okay. All right, so we finish with our activity. Yeah, we write everything down in part one and part two. Part one, we have baking powder, vinegar, and we mix them together. And in part two, we have raw and ripe mango. Okay, now it's conclusion part for our activity. So it's sum it up section. I give you, all right, start of the sentence. I wish you write down everything by your own, what we found. We found that, yeah, when the baking powder was mixed with vinegar, bubbles were formed, all right? And mango, the ripe one, had a different color and smell to the raw one, all right? And what kind of changes? All changes in this experiment are chemical changes, all right? They can be seen from the bubbles that form and the changes in color and smell of the ripe mango. Okay, so you can paraphrase all my speech, yeah, about conclusion and write it down, what we found, okay? You can watch, you can look on our problem and hypothesis and write down. We found that when baking powder is mixed with vinegar, bubbles formed. Yes, bubbles formed. And what about manga? Ripe manga cannot return to its original form, right? And the ripe one had a different color and a smell to the raw one, okay? So in short form, please write down what we found here, okay? Sum it up. It's production now for you. You writing down what we found, okay? What do you think we found, all right? When you finish writing, please continue watch our video lesson. All right, I hope you finish with the sum it up section. I hope you write everything correctly. And let's continue our lesson. All right, I remind you that our topic is chemical changes in substances. All right, so before we will make our new exercise, I want you watch one additional video. All right, so follow the instruction on the screen and watch video. Okay. All right. To watch next video, I ask you again to pause the video lesson, click the link and watch video 2. Same way like we make with video 1 in the beginning of our lesson. When you finish, watch video number 2. Come back to our video lesson and continue to watch our video lesson. All right? See you here after you finish watch video 2. Okay, pause the video now and go watch video 2. And I'm waiting you here, okay? See you later. Okay, good job. Now I hope you completely understand how chemical changes important in our everyday life. All right, so let's make next exercise. I will ask you to prepare your pen and work textbook and open your work textbook on page 169. Open your work textbook on page 169. All right, you can pause the video, open page 169 in your work textbook, prepare your pen or pencil, and play our video lesson. Okay, so let's discover exercise 1 on page 169. Answer the following question. What is a chemical changes of a substance? We know that chemical changes of the substance, it is a change in which one or more substance change to form one or more new substance, yeah, with different properties, with new properties. So please pause the video and write it down. It's a change in which one or more substance change to form one or more new substance with different properties. Okay, this is a chemical changes. All right, so pause the video, write it down. It is a change in which one or more substances change to form one or more new substances with different properties. Okay, pause the video, write it down. When you finish writing, push the play button and continue watch our video lesson. Okay, question number 2. How are chemical changes of substance important in everyday life? All right, just before we jump into our practice and this exercise, I showed you a video about importance of chemical changes and chemistry at all in everyday life. So they are important in cooking, making medicine, and making many different materials. Okay, repeat after me. They are important in cooking, making medicine, and making many different materials. All right, pause the video, write down everything in your work textbook. Okay, when you finish writing, please push the play button and we continue our video lesson. All right, next exercise. Number 2, find out about chemical changes in everyday life and write them down. Find out about chemical changes in everyday life and write them down. I give you 3 different examples, okay? We have table, okay? And there is 5 rows. We have to fill it up. The chemical changes and what can be absorbed. For example, look, number 1, lightning, a just stick. Lightning, a just stick, okay? This one, you see, we have just stick, right? Repeat after me, just stick. And when we lightning a just stick, it's chemical changes, right? It's chemical changes because we lightning a just stick and new substance will appear. It's ash, right? So lightning a just stick, it's chemical changes, okay? What can be absorbed? Light and red light. If we close light, we can observe light, red light, here, because it's burned. And smoke, you see many smoke around formed. So light and smoke are formed. Okay, pause the video, please, write it down in your work textbook. Number 1, lightning a just stick. Okay, what can be absorbed? Light and smoke are formed. When you finish writing, please push the play button and we continue our lesson. Okay, number 2, grilling chicken, it's chemical changes as well in our everyday life. For example, if we grilling chicken, repeat after me, grilling chicken, it's chemical changes, grilling chicken. Okay, so we have raw chicken and we have grilled chicken, big difference, right? What can be absorbed? What the difference? What can be absorbed? changes in color. You see, different color and smell. If you grill chicken today for your breakfast, dinner, or lunch, you can smell raw and you can smell grilled, and you will find big difference. Okay, so grilled chicken, it's chemical changes. And what change? Change in color and smell. All right, so pause the video, write it down in your work textbook. Okay, number 3, a ripe tomato. Okay, a ripe tomato. What is it? Ripe tomato is this one. Okay, on the right side of this photo, ripe tomato. A ripe tomato. Okay, what can be observed? What the difference between raw tomato and ripe tomato? Ripe tomato, different color, yeah, and I'm pretty sure different smell as well, yeah. So what can be observed? Changes in color, yeah, it was green and it became red, and it's different smell. Okay, again, if your mother have on kitchen raw and ripe tomato, you can come and check it how it smell different and color different. All right, so write it down, please. When you finish writing, I ask you to complete this table. Number 4, chemical changes, and number 5, chemical changes, and what can be observed. Give me 2 examples that you can observe in everyday life. Okay, any chemical changes you can observe in everyday life, and write them down. Number 4, chemical changes, and number 5, chemical changes, and what can be observed, what the difference, okay, before chemical changes and after chemical changes. All right, so in the same way, like we make 3 chemical changes, and we describe what we can observe in these chemical changes. In the same way, you fill up number 4 and 5. Okay, when you finish, we can continue our lesson. All right, now pause the lesson and complete the table, please. All right, and in the end of our production part, I will ask you to make exercise 3. All right, tick the picture with the chemical changes. All right, what is first? First one, I think, is metal, right? It's metal, and we have some rust here. So rust appear, yeah, on the metal. How we know that if rust appear on the metal? Rust is new substance, right? So it's chemical changes, right? And we tick it, all right? We tick it because it's chemical changes. Rust appear on the metal, all right? Number 2 and number 3, I will ask to tick or do not tick by your own, okay? Now, number 2, what we see here, somebody cut clothes, right? Or cut fabric, right? Is it chemical changes or not? If you think that it's chemical changes, tick it like a first picture. If you think it's not chemical changes, leave it like this, okay? Do not tick anything, all right? Number 3, we have we fry egg, okay? So before we have raw egg, and now we have fried egg, yeah? We change color, yeah, and we change smell. All right, so is it chemical changes or not? If you think that it's chemical changes, please tick it here in the same way like we tick first picture. If you think it's not chemical changes, do not tick it, okay? Okay, so take your time, pause the video, write, complete this sentence, and continue watch our lesson. Okay, good job everyone. Our lesson nearly to finish. Before we finish our lesson, I would like to recap everything we learned today. Okay, our topic was chemical changes in substances. All right, we make some science process skills enhancing activity where we put hypothesis that when baking powder is mixed with vinegar, some bubbles will form. All right, so we watch one video about this experiment, how we mix baking powder and vinegar. Also, we put bubbles on bottles and that balloon inflated by that gas, right? And we make some exercise on page 169. Here we answer the question, what is chemical changes of a substance? How are chemical changes of substance important in everyday life? We learn some uh, table with you, and we found out about chemical changes in everyday life and write them down. I give you 3 examples and I ask you to fill up 4 and 5 by your own. And we make third exercise. Yeah, too many exercise. Yeah, for this lesson. Good job. It's good practice. Okay. So yeah, I think conclusion is finished. All right.
Okay, now our lesson is finished. I hope it was exciting and interesting for you, and I wish to see you soon. All right, so I wish you stay safe with your family at your home, stay home, and see you soon. Okay, bye bye.